Got him. Got that one. Feels pretty good too. Well, not as big as I thought maybe. Let's see what we got here, folks. Well, not a bad fish. Not a giant, but not a bad fish. Come on. All right, bud. Well, at least I know they're down there. You know, we just showed up. And little Texas rig going on here. Just showed up. Summer fishing. Towards the tail end of summer though. You know, everything's starting to cool down. There we go. A little Roosevelt Lake bass. Folks, today, let him go. We're at Roosevelt Lake, and you know, the fishing's been pretty good. Been fishing some night tournaments with my buddy Matt Shura, and we ended up fishing the ABA and the Let's Talk Fishing events, and we ended up with the American Bass Championship, won the Angler of the Year title on this lake. We had to come here 5 times in a row, but it's night fishing, total different ball game. Had a lot of fun doing that, but I heard that the day fishing's picking up a little bit, but we're still in a little bit of a summer pattern here. And I like to, you know, when it's summer, we didn't get out here real early this morning, just got out here, and we actually didn't leave the dock very far. And I'm working my way down towards what you can see here, Windy Hill. And, you know, I thought, well, you know, one of my favorite techniques in the summertime, you either have the jig, and we'll probably throw a little bit of that today, and of course the Texas rig. You really can't beat the Texas rig. A little craw and a 3/8 ounce or a 1/2 ounce weight. The biggest deal is number one, you want to use some heavier line. I'm using a 17-pound test fluorocarbon line, and just a little craw here. It's a chigger craw. It's a Berkeley chigger craw, and what really makes this whole thing work pretty good is putting that weight and making sure you have a heavy enough weight to get down a little bit deeper. You know, if you're throwing up in 5 foot of water, you can get away with a 1/4 ounce weight, but we like to use those 3/8 ounce, 1/2 ounce weights when we go a little bit deeper. And what I mean by that is I'm trying to find this little rocky stuff like this, and this is what we'll be looking for. Points, the ends of points, you know, in that area, and some chunky rock bluffy type stuff. And I love Texas rigging in there and jigging. And this time of year in the summertime, those fish are still a little bit deep. Sometimes they'll come up in the mornings and in the afternoons or something and feed, and you can see a few of them busting a little bit, but they're the smaller ones. We want to try to catch some of the bigger ones on the bottom. So I'm out there in that 20 foot, 25, 30 foot of water and just dragging out there to see what's going on. I'll tell you something not to overlook too this time of year is a Carolina rig. You know, that Carolina rig really catches them this time of year. So we'll see what we can't do, catch us some fish. You know, they stocked this thing with some Florida strain bass, and those fish are now starting to grow up. And we're seeing that in tournaments. You know, Matt and I were catching a consistent 20 pounds in an evening, you know, and on Texas rigs, believe it or not. So, you know, I mean, we can get this done. And out here in the summertime like this, it's a lot of fun. It's starting to cool down a little bit. We're in August. So, you know, we're gonna get out here, hit some rocky stuff. But the key is I think when you're throwing crawdad type imitation baits, is to get out there where the crawdads like to be. And they like to be in that rocky area. So we wanna find some rocky spots, you know. And if you're just on a flat bank, you better have some rocks somewhere, a pile of rocks somewhere. And you'll catch some fish doing that. But we're gonna try that today and see if we can't pull something off and catch a nice limit of bass today. Stick with us here at Roosevelt Lake. We're gonna have some fun. We weren't out here very long and we got bit there. And it feels like you're way off the bank, and I am. I like to put myself in, right now we're in 26 foot of water, and I'm just casting out up into that, you know, 15 to 20 foot, letting it fall, and I'm dragging it out. But you wanna feel the rocks, let it fall to the bottom. And what I like about the Texas rig is you don't get hung up quite as much with the Texas rig because nothing's exposed. Your hook's basically buried into the plastic a little bit, so you can bring it over top of those rocks. There's one. There's a jig fish. Come on, buddy. Oh, well, that's not a bad fish right there. Little jig bass. Those are the kind you want to find. Something around that neighborhood. And look at how he ate that thing. When they eat it like that, you know you're throwing the right color, and they're eating crawdad in that area. We came where the rocks are, tied on a jig. Couldn't quite get the bites I wanted on the, ooh, I'm gonna have to retie, you got me in the rocks. But we came to this real rocky point here, and I'm just kind of working my jig through it. I'm just throwing a brown jig is all I'm doing. It's the Yamamoto, actually the 330 color, but I'll tell you, it works on a 1/2 ounce jig head. But the thing is, you gotta remember, I'm throwing this on 17 too, but you gotta remember to check your line quite frequently when you're messing with the rocks, because you'll without a doubt break off a fish of a lifetime if you don't retie once in a while. It never fails. The big bite you get's the one with the fray in your line. So always take time to retie. It's a pain, but man, it's worth it. You know, we're here on a full moon during the day, but you can still catch fish off these deeper areas just by throwing a jig or a Texas rig, or like I said, even a Carolina rig. But if I'm gonna throw something like a crawdad, then I wanna be in some areas where I think the crawdads will hide, which is rocky areas, rocky points, things like that, that's got some breaks on them, you know, bluffs, something that's got some kind of a break on it, maybe a flat that comes out and breaks off or something. You know, that's the type of areas I'm gonna be looking for. There's gonna be times when you feel like you're out in the middle of the lake to fish some of these spots, and there's gonna be times you can get right up close, you know, you just gotta, depends on the spot you're fishing. The fish are there. So far in anywhere from that 15 to 30 foot of water. What I like to do too when I'm pulling on this jig is I like to drag it, just kind of let it drag, but you know, once in a while you have to hop it. Once you feel the rock, you got to kind of hop it over the rock and just let it fall back down over the rock. The whole purpose of that is a lot of people grab the rock and then they'll start pulling, oh, I'm snagged. But that's where those fish are hanging out, you know, those crawdads. So you kind of got to hop it over this bouldery stuff, and it's hard when you have an exposed hook, but the way these jigs are set up, they come over pretty nice. You'll get hung in some areas that are worse, but a lot of it too is the way you have your rod angled in the water. Like, see, I'm kind of pulling straight up on it, which I'm pulling up over the rock. If I was to drag it down by the water and just try to pull it that way, a lot of times your hook will turn and you'll get it caught in the rock. So the main thing is not working this bait too fast. The one problem that I see a lot of times, especially when I take people out guiding or something like that, is they just have a tendency to work the bait way too fast. And this kind of bait, you want to make it look like a crawdad in the water. You know, crawdads don't move 100 miles an hour in the water unless something's chasing them, and you can hop it along and make it look like a crawdad. There's a bite there. I don't know if he grabbed it or not. He got it. He got it that time. Come on, baby. He's not a giant, but it's a fish. Oh! That's what I'm talking about. Little jig bass. Oh, I got him on the outside here. Come on. We'll do the old slinger up in here. There we go, look at that. Yeah. All right, little jig bass. That's what they're eating. Imitate that crawdad. A lot of times you'll catch them. When they're chasing after shad, you want to be throwing shad patterns and going after the shad, you know, but a lot of times fish can't hardly resist a crawdad, especially during the middle of the day, full moon, kind of slow. Get in those rocks, kind of work it through there. The fish that are up there eating, you're going to catch, you know, those fish that are actually up in there. So you can see how he kind of took the tail on that one. We'll replace it. The one cool thing about it is you don't have to replace the whole lure. You just replace the jig itself, the skirt and the twin tail. But it'll work out pretty good. We'll replace that real fast and get out there and get fishing again. Got him. Got that one. That one feels pretty good. That could be a catfish, man. Oh, that's gonna be a big catfish. I just know it. I just know it. Oh my goodness, look at the size of that catfish, folks. Anybody for little hush puppies? Look at that. I'll take that to the picnic basket and we'll have a little catfish dinner. Come on. I knew you stayed down too far. I got you. Bring that slimy thing up in my boat on a jig. Look at that fish. Anybody for little hush puppies? See you, bud. Well, maybe I should be doing a catfishing show. I'm telling you, that'll wear you out. Good thing I've been going to the gym. Yeah, a little bit better shape. See, that's what you're looking for when you're looking for spoon bass right there. See, they're hitting it, but I'm not getting them because the treble ain't there. There's one. Well, I guess I don't need the treble. Come on. Oh, that's a little bit better bass now. Little spoon bass. Look at that. I hope I can get him up. I got that real soft tip. We'll let him run a little bit. I don't know how well he's hooked. I only got the 2 hooks on this because I lost the trebles. Look at that fish though. A little bit better fish right there. On that ice jig. Oh, come here. Oh, got him. Oh, gotcha. Talk about luck, huh? Let me throw back down in there. Sometimes you get them fired up, folks, and you know, I don't have the treble hook on this thing. It's kind of keeping my strike catch ratio. Look at that. I don't even have the treble hook on it, but in saying that, I've kind of hurt myself here. Let's see. Those are some good sized fish down there. Maybe I should pull my spoons out. You know, this time of year, you got to remember in the summer, the spoons work good. If you find those school of fish that are feeding up on them shad, take advantage of it. We're up here throwing a jig and school like that flies under the boat. You got to have something there. 28 foot of water right there. There he is. Well, you know, oh, he came off. He came off. Oh, I should just tie on another jig, but man, they're down there now. Come on. Do that again. That's what I'm talking about, son. That's when it's fun. Oh, and I don't even have the proper gear going on here. I gotta get another spoon on there, another ice jig. I'm waiting for him to eat it now. Look at that. We gotta wait for him to eat it before we can even bring him up now. Folks, for my tip of the week, one thing that's really important is when you hit the water, don't have such a hard preset of what you're gonna do. It's good to have an idea of what you're gonna do, but don't rely on, if the fish aren't biting on that, you gotta change. And don't be afraid, even though you might have a good, say, jig bite going on and we're catching them here, one there, kind of like that. But if you get on a spoon bite and you wanna go around the lake and do something like that, then go do it. Have some fun with fishing. But I think a lot of people get locked into, I'm gonna throw a spinnerbait today, and if they don't bite, then I'm not gonna catch fish. I'll tell you what, learning how to be versatile is key, but having a couple of things on the deck that are total opposite, you got the jig on one hand, the Texas rig, and then the spoon. And we worked at both today, and I think it's very important to keep your mind open to different techniques throughout the day. I'll tell you what had happened is I pulled up here to throw the jig. We let it rest a little bit. We came back to this rock pile because I wanted to throw a jig back in there. And those fish swam under the boat, and that's the cool thing about having a good graph is when you see that happening, you gotta make sure you got a spoon or a drop shot hooked up, ready to go. You have to. You do not want to miss those kind of fish. You really don't. Look, we're coming back out to where they were at 28 foot. Yep, there they are. See, there's a whole school of them right there. See how they're showing up right on the graph right now? We're gonna drop our spoon straight down in front of the trolling motor. Nothing chased my bait down. They were sure going after it a minute ago. Okay, the one thing that's really important to remember with this kind of fishing is you want something that's got a little bit of a tip on it. You know, medium action, something that's got a nice tip on it so the little treble hooks and the little hooks that you're using don't come loose on you. You know, and I'm throwing this on 12-pound line. A lot of guys will throw it, you can throw it on 10. 10 or 12 is really good for the ice jig, I think. And what I like about it is being able to free spool it down, but there they are right there. And that ice jig really works great because when it free floats down, it kind of veers off. As you bring it, as you jig it up, it'll kind of veer to one side and veer to the other side. It's got little wings on it, and that tail wing on it really makes it dart. And it looks like a real fish to them, so they go after it. But that's how fast the flurry can be. You know, that's why I wanted to get my spoon down there, even though it's missing the treble hook, because when they're biting that like mad like that, you don't want to take time to retie and miss the school that swims underneath you, because they're swimming. You want to try to stay with them as best as you can. Like right there's a school of fish sitting on the bottom. See if we can't get them to eat. There, we got him to eat. We got him to eat. Oh, that's a nicer fish too, folks. Look at that fish. Let that tip work for you. Oh my goodness, that's a nicer fish there. That one's well over 2 pounds. And he ate it. Ate that spoon, that ice jig. That's gonna be fun getting out of there. Look at that. Oh, he's got it way down there too. Golly. All right, bud, you're done. Oh, he got loose. Catch and release. Got him. Got him. Well, you can see the graph is lit up. We got a lot of fish. Look at that. Oh, we ended up with a little one at the end. Ah, that's okay. You know why? We've had a good day on the water today, let me tell you. Pick yourself up some jigs for the dog days of summer. Pick up some ice jigs. Have it on the deck when you're out here in this deeper water and those fish swim underneath you. Have it ready to go. I promise you, you'll have a good day if you're fishing that kind of stuff in this time of year. We've had an excellent day. It could have been an easy, well over 100 bass day for me today. And I wanted to let you know that that's what people call the dog days of summer. I'll take them all day long. It's just about noon right now. We're going in. Thanks for a great day on the water. We'll see you next week. I'm Johnny Johnson. Now, see, that's what I'm talking about, folks.